But not a capriati. Since 1976, capriati has roasted whole turkeys and beef at each shop every day. Meatballs are made from scratch too. Every stuff you'll ever eat at Capriati's is
by J.D. Power as most dependable mid-sized sporting car.
That's amazing.
Best of both worlds.
But not just Camaro and Malibu were awarded.
What? This is my
Alright guys, so I did get lucky enough to go to opening day to go see The Magnificent Seven in IMAX. I usually see movies in IMAX if they're in IMAX 3D, but I kind of felt like I needed to watch this in IMAX even though it's not in 3D. But I'll get to my IMAX experience after I'm done talking about the actual movie itself, so let's just move on to the review. In Magnificent Seven, we have this guy who's basically goes to this town. He's basically threatening them, and he kills the husband of this woman, and she's very upset at this, and she's willing to take revenge, where she finds Denzel Washington's character, who he's not really a sheriff, but he's a badass who just tries to kind of calm down all the problems in a very violent way. And she basically says, hey, some guy murdered my husband, we want to basically get him, revenge will be good and everything. And she basically gives, pays him and to hire other people to basically hunt this guy down, to basically kill him. Denzel Washington's character basically gets another 6 badasses to join this crew to actually hunt down the villain in this movie and get revenge in the on the climax of the movie. Let's remember this movie is directed by Antoine Fuqua, who did movies like Training Day, which I haven't seen sadly yet, but I will check it out soon. Olympus Has Fallen, which is a ton of fun. I loved Olympus Has Fallen. The sequel is nothing like Olympus Has Fallen. He also did movies like The Equalizer, which was mediocre at best. It was an okay movie. Another Denzel Washington movie, which I enjoyed his performance in that movie. It just wasn't a great movie overall. And Southpaw, which I think he handled very well, and it's definitely one of the best movies of 2015. It's very nice seeing him direct a Western, and he's going a level ahead for his directing. And sadly, I haven't seen movies like The Hateful Eight or Django Unchained yet. But out of the Westerns that I have seen, this is the best Western I've seen since the 2011 animated movie Rango. Do you guys remember that movie with Johnny Depp, the chameleon? Yeah, watch that movie if you haven't. I definitely recommend it. We've seen this story before. I think it's done very well in this movie, and the director did a very good job at, making a good story out of this story. The movie's also a lot of fun. I definitely had tons of fun with this movie. It's just a very fun movie. I just very liked how fun and energetic this movie is. Again, towards the fun scenes, the action scenes are very fast-paced, and I appreciate that. But the action scenes are very violent, and again, director Antoine Fuqua, he does very good with violence, and he definitely took it a high level with a very violent PG-13 movie. The movie isn't really cliched. It's not predictable. I did not expect almost everything that I saw in this movie, not even the deaths that we saw. And with the characters, they're all introduced very well. They each have very fair amount of time to get introduced. They each have their own time to shine, especially Vincent, what's his last name, D'Onofrio. He is my favorite character out of the 7, and he did a fantastic job, and they introduced them very well. All the characters very well introduced, and they're all just fantastic. I think this movie is fantastic. Think about it. We have Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ethan Hawke. We have all these amazing actors, and they're, the acting is very good. You believe their performances, and that's something that you have to do in a movie, and it's very important to actually make somebody believe the performances, and that's what they did in this movie. They accomplished. Acting is very good. There's our fantastic, again, Vincent D'Onofrio's character. He was, again, my favorite character. Denzel Washington, badass character. Chris Pratt, very funny. Just about everything is very good, and fantastic villain. He was very threatening. I really liked his villain. I just think that, the script was also really funny, and I did not expect that for this movie. James Horner's very last soundtrack, it was just very beautiful to listen, especially towards the end credits. It's an amazing soundtrack. It's just beautiful. Simply beautiful. Let's see, what else do we have? We have, it feels like a classic Western, like in those Westerns where they're shooting a gunshot and then they hit something and makes that noise like, "Durr." Yeah, they do a lot of that in this movie. Not just that, but beautiful shots. In video productions, we're learning about, how to shoot very good videos and pictures, and they do a lot of very beautiful wide shots, and director Antoine Fuqua, he handled that very well, and that's a win-win for him. He does very well with these, shots. It's just beautiful. Now to the bads. This movie did have some slow pacing issues. There were some scenes where I was just itching to get to the action scenes, and it just felt very slow paced, and that was a problem throughout the movie. A little nitpick, it's not really throughout the movie because 90% of the dialogue in this movie is very good, but the other 10% it's just, it looks like they couldn't come up with something better, but 10% it's just, but 9% it's great dialogue. The villain, even though I did think he was threatening and he was fantastic, I felt like they could have had more cuts of him in the film. Hopefully for the Blu-ray release they have an extended cut which shows more scenes with him, because I think they could have used them more throughout the film. But that's just about it with my flaws for the movie. Now for my IMAX experience. My IMAX theater is a IMAX DMR theater, which stands for digital mastering, remastering, something like that. It's not real IMAX, it's considered IMAX, but it's something. This movie was not shot in IMAX, but did go through the IMAX digital remastering process, which gave it a quite crisp, picture quality, which you could tell definitely in some scenes, the action scenes mostly. They were very crisp, and I did like how bright they were in IMAX. What really stood out for me in the IMAX experience was the audio quality for this film. Every time they would make a loud gunshot, it's just very loud, and you could hear it from one side and you could hear the other gunshot from one side. It's just very nice, and it's the IMAX effect. IMAX sound effect is that they move the sound with you in the theater. For example, if there's a helicopter, they move the sound to where the helicopter is moving, and they did that in this movie. There's a scene where there's this fly surrounding a dead body, and I thought that the fly was literally right next to my ear, and it just sounded so realistic till I noticed it was in the movie, not in real life. The audio is very heart-pounding. There's a scene where they explode this area in the movie, and the explosion's so loud I could hear it from my heart. I'm not even exaggerating. So if you like loud sounds like I do in movies, and that's how I like to experience my movies, as if I'm in them and as if I could hear them right next to me, this is the way to go for Magnificent Seven. I'm going to say that the IMAX is definitely worth it. Guys, at the end of the day, this movie was fantastic. It was so close to getting my highest rating, but it's going to get my second highest rating because of those flaws, which is full price worthy. Definitely see this movie in full price and IMAX. Anyways, did you see this movie? What you think about it? What's your favorite Western? And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next movie day.